We are in a race week after an unexpected no race week, which means race predictions. And Monaco is always a little bit of a potential wild card. So
This
I have to
is
start with, did you at all switch up your P1 winner of Monaco?
yeah, I still picked Max. This
I
is
also still picked Max.
great. Yeah. Um it's interesting because we filmed last week's predictions for Imola and had to scrap it all. So I'm going to say the same thing I said when this was all lost to the vault. And that is until another team proves that they might be able to win a race, I will continue to pick Max because if Max wins and I don't pick Max, I will feel silly.
I agree.
No.
I know we saw Checo win last year, but that in my brain is like more like Max really wants to win it this year.
Also, of all the races, I understand that just for a fluky reason, someone else could win.
Right.
But I can't. It all goes back to if Max won, I will feel dumb for
I
not
agree.
picking him. So have to go with Max. Um, Also, just with all of these picks, I think this is the most unknown we're going into a race weekend predictions. Mercedes is bringing upgrades. Some teams may or may not be bringing big upgrades that they were going to bring to Imola. Ferrari has said they're not bringing their upgrades. So there's just
A lot of up
yeah.
in the air. It's a lot of we don't know what we're going to be seeing on track.
It's Monaco and all the Imola upgrades may or may not be coming. So like we were gonna get a shakeup last weekend, and then now we're gonna get a shakeup and Monaco. And I'm gonna throw in here before we continue with our predictions that if it does rain, they are debuting the new wet tires that don't need tire blankets this week.
I don't
So
want any
yeah,
of this. I don't know if I want this. I don't know. I don't know if I want this.
right. So just throwing, like, there's just too much chaos this week for me to actually know what we're doing. So leading into, since I just gave an entire preface about, I have no idea what's going on. Nicole, who did you pick for P4?
I put Carlos at P4.
Ooh, okay.
I, I more just went with the vibe of I just feel I want something good to happen to Charles, so I didn't want to put him at P4, and I'm just being too optimistic for Ferrari. So my brain is either it's really great for Charles or it's really bad for Charles. So I put Carlos at P4.
I saw a graph that F1 Data Analytics made on their Instagram, and it was just the average finishing position for all the drivers in Monaco. Now, of course, that stat is really skewed based on where the drivers have raced. But what shocked me was how high, and by high I mean low number, Carlos's average finishing position was, despite it's not like he's always had a good car or anything.
Right.
So I think that's a fair place to put him.
Felt right. Again, vibes. We're going with vibes.
Yeah. I put Lewis in P4
Okay.
because if either of the Mercedes finish this weekend that high up, I'm going to feel great. And I would like to feel great. You know, per prior statements about how we have back-to-back Triple Crown races, I need Lewis to end the race, not behind Fernando Alonso in a DRS train in the middle of the pack, is essentially what I'm rooting for. So, P4.
Then maybe the rest of forever, teams will bring B-spec upgrades to Monaco.
Trendsetter. To be fair to Mercedes, we keep joking about this. They do have enough spares, they say, and they've already like retrofitted the chassis to fit these new upgrades. So they physically can't not bring them. Is really what's going on here.
Right, yeah.
It's stressful.
Logistics, but still panic inducing. So then we do our pick of P7, aka best of the rest. Uh, who do you have for finishing P7 in Monaco?
Lance.
Okay.
Yeah. No reason, just vibes. Actually, I think for Lance doesn't historically do well at Monaco, and I'm putting out some positive points for him.
That's a lot like how the rest of my picks kind of go.
Who's your P7?
My P7 is ST Bestie. Again, really going in vibes, positivity. We just want good things to happen to good people.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I have ST Bestie as my P10. So points this weekend.
I went back and forth of putting him in P7 or P10, but then I wanted to continue to spread the positive vibes, and I put Alex at P10. And I understand how crazy that is because, you know, Williams, but Alex.
Right.
Who knows? Not impossible. And if anyone can do it in that car, it's Alex and not Logan. So Alex in P10.
I will say Williams' significant lack of downforce improved downforce from last year, but overall significant lack of downforce is not helping the prediction, but I do support the positive vibes because that's the goal. I'm putting good things out into the world.
What do I have to lose?
All right, who's your best of the bottom 5 teams in the constructors standing for this weekend? Who's going to score the most points?
I picked Alpine.
Me too.
Yeah, it just made the most sense. It literally was the safest pick. And footage that will never be found. I had a little bit of a spicier pick last week, and
it is in the grid walk
It
vault.
didn't work. It is in the grid walk vault, and it'll stay there. But I did not feel good about going into. I did change up my picks a little bit from what they would have been, but that one I definitely was like, nah. Alpine is the clear pick for here. I mean, is there any clear pick for Monaco? Who knows? It's all chaos, as we've been saying. We never know.
Yeah. It is particularly interesting to have Monaco. Like, Monaco this year is starting the European season. Monaco is before Spain because historically, actually, I think this year we aren't getting the Sector 3 chicane, but like for years it's been like, if you go well at Spain's Sector 3, you're going to do well at Monaco. And it's like been the whole thing. And like,
your schedule is so back and forth and so confusing and like
Right. I really am excited for the next 2 races because almost every team is bringing something really significant because it's the start of the European season, and I think we're going to get a really good picture of the directions for all the teams.
You start to see that shift. Like, this is the point of the season where the upgrades that are coming should be making a significant difference, and there's been enough race and data collected for engineers to be creating like an actual piece of the car that will make a substantial change, hopefully in a positive way for some of them.
Yeah, and for Mercedes, positive way for Mercedes. We've been yelling about Imola upgrades for weeks now. Now we get to yell about the Monaco upgrades that we're not going to understand. Like, if you are a fellow Mercedes fan listening to this, just know that whatever happens this weekend has nothing to do with the upgrades. So we're now just going to yell about the Barcelona upgrades for 2 weeks, essentially. But this is the start of the season where I get to watch Sam Collins walk down the pit lane and explain what's on the cars to me, which is my favorite part of an F1 season.
Thank you for listening to this segment from episode 18 of Gridwalk. Oh my goodness, the Lance Stroll episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more F1 videos. Also, you made it this far into this video. You finished this video. Why not go watch the full podcast? You can click right here. It's so easy. Click here for the full thing. Ready? Follow and click, click, click. Click right here. Click, 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 click.